Here's Brody Brazil.
I do think it's fair to say that within the last week, we all got so caught up with the A's and the state of Nevada and, the end of the regular legislative session, the beginning of a brand new special session to consider SB 1, public funding for a Las Vegas ballpark. We got so caught up in that stuff that it was hard to even pay attention to baseball games, let alone other relevant news surrounding potential relocation. And that might mean actual government involvement with the A's and MLB and the city of Oakland. Now, separate what I'm about to share with you here, this letter from Congresswoman Barbara Lee, separate that from the Nevada stuff right now, because this is really kind of aimed towards the next step. If everything gets secured in Nevada and Las Vegas from an approval and a financial standpoint, if SB 1 passes votes in the Nevada Senate and the Nevada Assembly, and then it's signed by Governor Joe Lombardo, that's one part of this equation. The next step would be to obtain actual approval by Major League Baseball for relocation. And that's kind of what this letter is aimed towards. Now, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, longtime politician, currently representing the 12th Congressional District, which encompasses Oakland and northern Alameda County. By the way, her letter, what she submitted to Rob Manfred, was also accompanied by a letter that Senator Alex Padilla wrote. In that letter, I'll take a little bit of the sample there. Quote, "The senator shares the concerns of Oakland officials and has communicated those concerns to MLB." So, Barbara Lee not the only one here. And as you'll see the letter, I'll show it to you to get the scope of how long it is. More than one page, her signature on official letterhead. This is how it actually looks here in 2023. Not a physical letter, I think, probably submitted electronically, but gives you the kind of the scope of how deep she's going to get into the conversation here. And to summarize what we're about to read here together, I don't think Barbara Lee is suggesting that there will be action on this right around the corner. More so that it's concerning to her. She's got her eyes on it. She's got her reasons for it. And that obviously when it comes down to Major League Baseball's involvement in this, again, not right now with Nevada and Las Vegas, but ultimately when it comes down to the league as a business making a decision, she's got some things to say about it. So let's dive right into the letter that says, quote, "Dear Commissioner Manfred, I write regarding the future of the Oakland Athletics Baseball Club in the East Bay. Many of my constituents in the East Bay and I are increasingly frustrated with the continuing apparent failure of the team and Major League Baseball to deal in good faith with local government agencies. The city of Oakland and Alameda County have been home to the A's for 5.5 decades. Multiple generations of Oaklanders have grown up identifying with the team's dogged efforts and hard-earned triumphs. The A's organization adds significant tangible economic benefit to our region, including numerous good-paying jobs at Oakland Coliseum. But as important is the sense of unique shared cultural identity that surrounds the team and its local fan base. I believe strongly that our community also provides value to the A's. Oakland has been the scene for this franchise's greatest successes. East Bay performing artists have celebrated the A's musically, and the A's team colors and style feature prominently in local fashion, providing the franchise with significant value and cultural cachet. Not least, the fans and employees of the A's and Oakland Coliseum have made their own significant contributions to the team's bottom line for 55 years. The city of Oakland and Alameda County have worked to assemble a compelling plan for a new ballpark and surroundings, items which the A's had previously publicly said were indispensable for a new home field. And yet recent press reports suggest that the team and Major League Baseball are pursuing an alternative that includes none of these assets. These reports lead me and many in the East Bay to conclude that the A's and MLB have in fact not been acting in good faith. As a federal legislator, I believe such actions are inconsistent with federal policy goals related to MLB's exemption from antitrust scrutiny. In a July 2022 letter to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee, you volunteered that, quote, "The antitrust exemption helps ensure that MLB clubs maintain deep and enduring relationships with their fan bases, whereas franchises in other major professional sports regularly relocate from one market to another," end quote. That same month, in an interview published in the Los Angeles Times, you are quoted as saying, quote, "The principal utility of the exemption is that it allows us to be more aggressive than other leagues in preventing franchise relocation. It is a fan-friendly doctrine in the law." End quote. Yet in this case, Major League Baseball is actively seeking to subsidize the relocation of the Oakland A's through your public offer to waive MLB's standard relocation fee and actively take crucial revenue and a cultural staple from the East Bay. MLB's continued active encouragement of the A's abandonment of Oakland and the East Bay runs counter the rationale supporting MLB's century-old exemption from federal antitrust law. I ask you to reconsider efforts to subsidize or otherwise encourage the relocation of the Oakland A's out of the East Bay. Thank you for your full and fair consideration of this matter. Signed, Barbara Lee, Member of Congress. So again, I realize that we are so deep and entrenched in what's happening right now in Carson City and Las Vegas, and there's a whole bunch of back and forth across this, should I say, recessed weekend? There's no way to say it. A weekend of recess. It's not recessed. The weekend is not recessed, but it's in recess. There's a lot for lawmakers in Nevada to try and figure out in their deal with the A's, but this goes a step further and a step above all of that. So I thought this was important to pass along, and it's two people. It's Mr. Padilla, it's Barbara Lee, and they are actively watching this, monitoring this. I think a lot of people said, well, it's just a letter. It's no big deal. I think the way it was released, the timing of its release, I think it all factors into, maybe something else additionally going on here down the road, which may complicate relocation efforts. Hey, you made it here all the way to the end of the video. I appreciate that. Thumbs up. That'll greatly help the channel. Also, hey, subscribe here to the channel so I can make sure to see you next time. Have a good weekend.